Hello everyone, I'm Queen Diambi Kabatuswila Chiyomwata. I'm the queen of the Bakwaluntu people of Kasai. I'm Mukalenga Mukajiwan Kashama, which means the female king of the Order of the Leopard. And I'm also queen mother of the African descendants of Brazil. And I'm very happy to be here to share this wonderful panel with absolutely amazing people and good activists about the environment. And we're going to have a conversation today about the environment. So as you can see today, I'm in nature. As you can see in the back, there is the water, there is the trees, there is the grass, there is the sky, there is all of this animals and fish in the water, and all of this to just remind us that all of this was here on this planet before we got here. And there is a reason why the Creator decided to put all of these elements before we got here, because the Creator knew that we needed all of this in order for us to survive, in order for us to thrive. And in all the myth of creation, or in the the sacred text of every single religion, when we talk about the creation of man, oftentimes it has to do with nature. They talk about taking the dirt or the clay and making the human being from nature. So which reveal metaphorically that we are nature. We are also part of this nature. We are of the nature. We're not external to nature, and we're not just like if we were parachuted from somewhere here on the planet Earth. We are really from the planet Earth. We are the children of the planet Earth, just like the trees, just like the water, just like everything that we see around us. So it's very important to make that point, because we, if you can look at me, you can see that I'm queen from an ancient people, the Luntu people, who are also part of the Luba group in Congo, and not only in Congo but in also southern Africa. And my adornments and my regalia is all made out of natural material, natural fibers, and cowrie shells and feathers, and 100% cotton. And inside, if you could look at my crown, inside is all raffia, is all natural material. And we wear all that on us because we use nature to adorn ourselves, because it's a pact that we have made with with how we respect nature. So nature is not just there to serve us as to provide us with food, provide us with oxygen, provide us with water, provide us with shelter, provide us with clothing or adornment, but it also provides us with some inspiration. When you look around me and you go to any places in the world where you see mountains with snow, or you see a beautiful desert dunes, or you see a volcano, or you see, just look at the ocean or a beautiful river, even a spring, you can realize that nature is abundant, and nature just wants one thing: to give, and has provision for all our needs. This has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. I believe if we take note of the information we have in the scientific community, we can admit that we've been around for over 200,000 years as Homo sapiens sapien. So, and we lived 130,000 years in Africa alone. And we know, for all of you who know a little bit about Africa, or have seen some of our Africa, the nature is extremely abundant, and you can live just off of nature without even, having hard work to do to collect, the fruits and get the fish and get, the game meat and so forth. So nature is very abundant, very, especially from the Congo, because I come from where there is the tropical forest. So all these elements just give us an assurance that when we were created, everything was provided for us. But nature also forged us. Nature forged how we look. So the more the sun, the darkest, the features that we have, all of that is part of what nature does. Nature works with us to shape us so we can be best fitted to live in the environment where we are. And it can take 10,000 years, it can take 20,000 years or 30,000 years, but nevertheless, the contract we have had with nature for all these hundreds of thousands of years was very much balanced, because so far we lived all these thousands of years in symbiosis with nature. We were able to build amazing civilization, like the civilization of Kemet, which is sometimes called Egypt, where we can see that these civilizations sustained for thousands of years, like maybe 4, 5, 6, 8,000 of years, and are still some of the remnants of these civilizations still remain. And the driving element when you look at these civilizations is that a lot of them worked the contract with nature very well. They knew what nature was there to bring them, and they respected nature. They respected the cycle of nature. They respected the lesson of nature, because they learned from nature everything that they needed to know how to live on this planet and to adapt and adopt certain elements from the planet for our food, for our healing, because the plants, we have healing plants, and we have, of course, food, and we can sustain ourselves. And like I said earlier, we have shelter and clothing and adornment. So we have lived like that for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and we were able to develop magnificent, cultures all throughout the planet. So this is a common threat, a common threat now, when we know that the nature is not okay anymore, when we know that we have gone astray from a path of wisdom, where now our system of economic system has now taken another type of attitude towards nature. Now nature is no longer a friend or a partner. Now nature is a place where we can just go and take and exploit and just pillage, and then just so that we can edify ourselves with having lots of wealth or material stuff, or comfort and so forth. But we've always had material things and comfort, but it's the contract we had. Now the contract is almost like it's an open space where there is no more limit and no more regimentation of how much we take and how much we plunder and how much, when is it enough? There is no cap to, enough. There is no cap. We have to keep on going and going and going, and we pump, oil from the seas, and we cut trees from the forests, and so it's like there is no tomorrow, there is no stopping. So we have a system now, an economic system, that is contained in its design the illusion that nature is perpetual and nature is almost untarnishable, that nature kind of like replenish itself automatically, and there is nothing that we need to do to make sure that that happens. So because we have a system where it's we're looking to always have more profit, more accumulation of things, all that has to be, that has to come from somewhere. And nobody's inventing something from thin air, unless it's intellectual or artistic creation or intellectual property. Most of the things that are running this economy, it's really production of material goods. But there is to have an understanding now that we have gone too far. When I first heard about climate issues, I was, maybe in my 20s or so, and we were talking about the ozone layer, and we were talking about how we basically blew a hole in the ozone layer. And it's like, how can it be possible for so long, millions of years of this planet existing, we are now the generation who were able to blow up a hole in the ozone layer. So this cannot be replenished. So we look at nature as if it's perpetual, but nature is not perpetual. We have to start understanding and including in our economic model the fact that nature is scarce and nature has a rhythm to it to replenish itself. And yes, the damage that we're causing to nature can be permanent and can also cripple, our ability to live sanely and healthy on this planet. And whatever we do here in any parts of the world affect the entire world, because the planet is a round bubble of water. So if I pour some, detergent right here, well, guess what? On the other side of the lake, it will be affected depending on the amount of detergent I pour. So the planet is an entire body of water before being anything else. It's just water that communicate with each other. So anything that we do in one part of the world affect the entire planet. So even if we live in areas where we don't see the immediate damage, I know that there are countries that are really seeing the effect and that are very concerned, like my friends in Bahrain are very concerned about the rise of the water because of the climate change and the temperature rising. So we have to start thinking when we think about the environment in a global way as well. We cannot just have local solution and think that it's going to work. We have to fundamentally address two particular areas. The personal area where individuals have to take their own courage and their own responsibility towards nature and realize that everything we do, every behavior we have, everything we buy has a a carbon print to it, a cost to nature attached to it. And we have to be able to evaluate what is the cost that we are willing to pay for what kind of comfort. And so we have to adopt certain behaviors that will be, that will ease, the damage that we cause, or even stop the damage that we cause because of certain behaviors that we can put aside. The second thing is on the institutional level, the political structures, the governance structures. We, the individuals, have to put pressure on these institutions so that they can start really taking very seriously. They can adopt very serious, policies, but also have the means to implement them. Because it's one thing to have a policy, but the next thing to implement them. And we have to recruit everybody and put everybody on board. This is where you can no longer have division between, people from the north, people from the south, people who are white, people who are brown, people who are black, people who are women, people who are men, people who are young or old. This is a concern for all of us. So this is a good time for us to start understanding that we are global citizens, and that's why I call you my global family, and that we are responsible for this planet. And this planet has been there long before we appeared. And I believe it will be there long after we disappear. And we can be there for a long time, like some of our, counterpart, humanoid that been roaming on the planet, but for some reason, XYZ reason, one day they vanished. We don't always have an explanation for it, but why the dinosaur vanished? Those are a counterpart of living being, okay? Some species disappear every single day for a reason that sometimes we cannot comprehend. Some of it has to do with our activity, but some of them has to do with, the matrix of nature. So we don't know how long we have. We don't know if we are here for eternity, but we know we can prolong our stay, and we can definitely use our intelligence, yes, but also heart with wisdom, imbued with a lot of wisdom, a lot of love, to say to ourselves, we can do this together. We have a big responsibility. We have to take care of our Mother Earth. We can do something. And I always, see people bragging about being intelligent because we have all this technology now, and we are building this, and we are defying, gravity. We are flying up in the sky, and we're going into the space. Yeah, this is just a tiny bit of, expressions of intelligence. But that doesn't show that we are intelligent and smart. What will show that we are smart is when we see that we're bringing humanity to a cliff where we have become our way of life, and our activity has become a threat to life itself. The wise and the smart move to do is to stop and to take time to think, and to take time to realize that we have an obligation to collaborate together and to hear each other out and to see each other as part of a same human family, so that we can tackle these problems together. We can no longer turn our faces and say, whatever happened over there doesn't concern me. We can no longer do that. We cannot afford to do that anymore. So I'm here with my family talking about the environment to let you know that I am also with you in this fight, and I harbor my ancient tradition that I inherited from hundreds of years of my people. And in this wisdom, there is definitely the concept of sacred ecology, so that everything in the creation of God is sacred. That God is not some kind of entity that is out there and then is, detached from the affairs that are happening here. God has imbued himself or herself, whichever your fate is, into every piece and every aspect of creation. This is what I got from my forefathers and my great-great-great-great-great-grandparents and my ancestors. They know that nothing is alive, nothing exists without the precious and the sacred breath of the divine, of the Creator. So if we start understanding that, yes, it's okay, we go and pray in our churches, we go in our mosque, we go in our temple, we go in nature to pray, that's fine. But prayer is not just limited to uttering beautiful, commitments to the Creator. Prayer is also how we act towards God's creation. So a prayer, when you're preserving nature, when you're making sure that, the animals have a safe place to develop themselves, when you're making sure that you're not polluting the water or the air we breathe, it's one of the most beautiful prayer that you can do. So with this, comment, for me, praying is about reverence to every single life, including the grass on which I step right now, including the waters that you see behind me, because all of this would not happen without the ultimate, and primordial, ancestor, which is, the creator himself or herself. So I really give you my love and my gratitude for giving me this space to express myself, and I want to join you in whatever venture that you are on, in whatever fight that you are on, to make sure that we do something to change the way we live on this planet, because our children deserve it. Our children are demanding it, and they do deserve it. So please, please, please join me, and I will join you. So hey, the global family is going to mobilize for the climate, and I love you guys. I love Bahrain. You are a family to me. I've always been so kindly received there, and I love all of you guys, and I really appreciate the honor and the space that you open up for me to express myself. So with all my love, Queen Diambi, Kabatu Swila, Chiyo Mwata. Bye guys.